Oh no, don't tell me I left my thing muted again. I did. Oh, it's such a bad habit. It's so hard. It's so obvious that I should remember it, seeing how it's a big red button in front of me. Oh, thank you, Cody. All right, we'll redo my intro here in a little second, but welcome everyone. This is Dregn Durant of the SEO0088, and we're going to be exploring AI tools, and looking at concepts today, specifically around planets and space, or at least that's the topic. That's the prompt. Uh, I did this twice now. It's rough in the morning because yeah, it's rough in the morning because your brain's not quite at 100%. At least not for me. I'm usually only awake for like an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half if I'm really lucky before we start these. Sometimes even less depending on how I'm feeling and how cold it is outside the sheets. You know how it is. And looking at ChatGPT, looks like they are also down at the moment again. They're getting too much attention. It's looks like it's going to be a bit of a struggle to do it at this kind of daytime time slot. So we might have to reconsider when or how we're going to do these episodes if one of the tools that we're trying to leverage is going to be down at this slot every time. But in good fashion, um, it is what it is. What are we going to do about it? All right, it's it's okay. uh, Streaming be hard. Streaming do be hard. Streaming doesn't have to be so hard. I make it hard for no good reason. It's my brain. It's the way it's evolved. It's what I'm trying to unravel. But hey, we're having fun with it, or at least we hope we're still having fun with it, right? That's the how do we say? That's what we want out of it. We'll put it that way. Yeah, struggling to figure out being dumb, half asleep myself. Oh yeah. Wait, did I leave the mute on somewhere, right? Because now you can mute the video, you can mute the browser tabs, you can mute it through your system. No, I've done that before too. I'm trying to watch a video. It's like, why is there no audio? Is it me? And turns out, the video is just super quiet. So it just didn't have any audio at the beginning. Who knows what the deal is? But yeah, I catch myself doing that too. All right. Anyways, let's get our screen changed here. We're gonna go ahead and switch over to what are we looking at? We're looking for my browser. We're gonna go to Discord and let's go ahead and swap over. There it is. And we'll zoom all the way in and make it a little easier to see on screen. And yeah, unfortunately, with ChatGPT down, we're not going to be generating any kind of planet concept. So we'll have to maybe come up with something afterwards if we feel like it. But yeah, yeah, excited to hear more about AI stuff. Well, thanks for enjoying it, right? Our kind of experience on these shows is going to be to dive into some of the tools. We've decided to leverage MidJourney just because some of these models do have pricing plans, and some of them to do them all at once, as interesting as that may be, would be a little more expensive than I'm capable of at the moment. So we had to pick one. We picked MidJourney. It seemed to be the most flexible. Plus, I think it's quite interesting how they decided to use Discord as their interface of sorts of how you would use the tool. So it's been very cool in that regard, just because I've had a few ideas of like, man, Discord has grown so much to the point where we even see certain educational, like quote unquote businesses or something, use Discord and Discord channels and categories to deliver their content. So yeah, Discord isn't just like a chat platform anymore or a VoIP platform anymore. So it's something else. But yeah. I think maybe what we'll do every time we jump into MidJourney, right, is we'll see which one's growing faster. So if you guys recall, if you were here, gosh, I forget which episode I had looked at it in. But if we look at where is my streaming category here, here we go. All right. I wonder if Twitch alone has information about how just how many members it has. Nope, mute that. Let's see. Yeah, let's switch quickly here to the browser. This is Twitch. Let's see. Is there a way to see on Twitch? I don't use Twitch enough. and I probably will not care to. I have some strong feelings about Twitch as a platform to begin with. Uh, but if we go to, all right, I don't know where we can find it, so we're gonna switch back here to Social Blade for a brief moment, right? And I've highlighted this a couple times that there are over 7 million Twitch streamers, right? So you know, I don't know how I feel about when there was that report that came out where they interviewed a bunch of people. I think it was like between the ages of 7 and like 16 or something like that? I forget. But they had all about 75% of them, if I recall the report, said they wanted to be like an influencer, like a content creator, a streamer, something in that realm. And I'm just like, you guys don't even know what you're walking into. But yeah, so allegedly, right? According to Social Blade, there are over 7 million Twitch streamers, 7.1 in this case. So there might be some floaters out there. That's probably not the phrase I want to use for that. But if we looked at Discord, when I had first shared this statistic, the MidJourney Discord server had 7.6 million streamers. And then I was talking to somebody offline earlier this week, and it had 8 million members. I'm kind of curious what it's going to be after just another week. Let's look. So MidJourney, it has gained 300,000 members since I last checked it. That's crazy. Gosh, Discord is an animal. Discord is an animal. So, you know, when you consider that alone, the number of people playing with something like MidJourney is already a million larger, roughly, right? We don't know exactly 1.7. What is 1? I guess 1. Not 1.7, 7.1. Yeah. Yeah, it's already a million members over, people attempting to even do streaming. It's kind of puts things in perspective. So, but anyways, that's something that just it tickled my fancy. Is that the phrase? I found it very interesting that it is a Discord community that has grown to the extent that it has. But if anyone's ever curious of checking out MidJourney, I know there's, again, AI controversy aside, we've already talked about it. We've shared kind of our thoughts about it. We're out here looking at the tool as a tool for ideas, for concept, for reference, that we then maybe go to another creative avenue, or we go to another, like a creative, like an artist or someone, to then touch up. So we're not about to promote, I suppose, the ill use of these tools, but it's interesting because MidJourney also has done a really good job with creating different kind of, I guess, what would you call it? They've done a good job encouraging people to try out the tool and to get involved, because they'll do things like image jams, which I believe the concept here is that they will, yeah, here we go. They'll create different topics, and looks like they do this every few days from the looks of it, or every month or something. Not sure if it's community driven or if it's individually, driven, but you can get a lot of interesting ideas just by hanging out in their Discord. So, screenshots from imaginary video games. Ooh, that's a weird idea. Interesting. Merch, t-shirts, stickers, right? Emoji only. Oh, so you can do emoji only prompts. Maybe we'll have to try that sometime, because we saw that in one of the videos we had reviewed, or not reviewed, reacted to. So, yeah, MidJourney as a community, we'll call it, has at least done some very interesting, I guess, taken some very interesting initiatives to get their community involved and try out different things. And of course, one's going to argue that, hey, by using this tool, you're training the AI, which is true. But at the same time, using the internet, you're training AI because it's integrated into so much nowadays. I mean, who's to say that, for example, Facebook users, whenever they upload a comment or something, isn't already training some sort of a deep, text-based AI learning engine in the background. It wouldn't surprise me. And honestly, Google has come out and already admitted this is the example I often tend to use is those captchas, the ones where you have the 3x3 grid and you have to say, hey, which one's a crossroad, which one's a bus, which one's a stop sign. Those are actually being used to help train AI recognition of an image, for example. So yeah, we're at that point where we've been for years now training AI just by being on the internet. So it's unfortunately, yeah, it's unavoidable. It's already happened. So we're going to be talking about it. I think the best way to approach it is certainly to just carry on in the best way possible. Your intentions are what matters, right? So, anyways, very interesting. MidJourney Discord server. Lots going on here. Lots of activity. Lots of ideas. Lots of wild, wild thoughts. Heck, I could probably just come here and look at one of these titles, threads, prompts, whatever they might be. Come up with ideas that way. I remember speaking of Pokemon, there was one I saw I think it was last week, which was like realistic Pokemon, which was kind of weird, but kind of worked in a few of them. Art zombie, anime zombie, ugh, weird. So yeah, crazy, crazy stuff. Definitely tickles your brain. So let's go back. Let's play around with some prompts ourselves and see what we come up with. So I think what we'll start with is oh, I'm typing in the wrong thing. So let's go ahead and do our excuse me. Do imagine. We're going to do a prompt here. We're looking at kind of what is it? AI generated planets and spacey things. So let's try a photo of Earth from space, comma NASA. I feel like putting in the keyword NASA is going to trigger a lot of NASA images. Putting Earth in there, we're hopefully going to get something similar to Earth, and we'll start with somewhere close to home, right? Let's take a look at what that has to do, or what that will do, and then we'll go from there. Ooh, part of me feels like in the mornings I should probably spend just like an hour talking. Maybe we've tried this kind of broken out 1 hour session deal, and I think there's some goods and bads about it now that I've done it for almost 2 weeks on and off. Maybe what I'll try is, now that we've kind of gotten in a decent habit of doing these in the morning, maybe what we'll do is we'll try changing it back to the 2-3 hour model, just to see how the vibe changes. And we'll actually, rather than trying to do one long 3 hour, we'll do like 3 short 1 hours that just happen to be in the span of 3 hours, for example. So first hour, maybe I'll spend some time just chit-chatting, rambling. It'll be podcast style. It's in the morning. My brain's still waking up, right? And then maybe second hour, we'll see if we want to jump into the Exploring AI series, or if we want to go for maybe just a quick little 1 hour session of goofing around in a game or something. And then the last hour, we'll flip it around. I don't know. Some ideas. It's good to try things out. All right. So what do we have here? Also, I didn't really quite full screen it back again, so we'll go and make everything larger. Guess it doesn't really matter for the image pop out, but otherwise, considering how AI artwork in the past would create some very kind of mashed together, funky looking, very psychedelic images in some cases, the fact that this has given us a pretty good shape, I would say, for North America and South America, and 3 of them. And then, funny enough, one of them is what is that? India, Africa, the Middle East, China. I think Australia is either missing, or just the perspective of it is kind of taken away. But poor Australians. No more Australia, apparently. All right, so it looks like it can handle planets here pretty well. Let's try changing that. Actually, I think what we'll try here, that I suppose looks like a photo with some shadows and lighting, but Excuse me. But I'm hoping for something a bit more, with a bit more depth. I don't know. It looks like oddly flat to me, which I think the photo aspect probably makes it a bit flat in that regard. So let's try Earth. Let's try planet Earth. NASA 3D. 3D? Is 3D the right keyword I want to use for this? Maybe we'll try that. Yeah. Planet Earth, NASA 3D. Yeah, let's see what that will create for us. I know there's a lot of, tricks, quote unquote, that people say out there that you can do with these prompts to try to get the type of result you're looking for. But we're going to avoid some of those just because we want to see what the AI is capable of and if there's any patterns that it's kind of defaulting to and whatnot. All right, so we're getting some planets. Looks like we're rotating it a little bit. Curious what the 3D aspect of this is going to look like. I can already tell there's a little bit more, what would you call it? Ooh, we got some interesting results here. Look at that. So that top left one, that first one there, definitely has a bit more. You know what? I'm in the mood for some music. Let's put some music on this morning. We'll go ahead and... what do we do? We'll keep it a bit on the low side just in case anyone out there is tuning in, wants to put a track of their own on. But let's see. We'll just go through our list here again. I need to organize these a bit better at some point. How low can I make this? All right, it's going to be really quiet, just kind of in the background, but yeah, a little bit of noise, just for me mostly. All right, but yeah, first image there, top left. Yeah, it kind of sort of resembles. That is a little too hard for the morning. Let's actually remove that from the list. Yeah, I think all the cinematic ones I want to remove from the list for this morning. Not really in the mood for that. Let's start with like down here. All right, I might have to play with that later. But yeah, top right almost looks more like some kind of like a seismic graph, something a little different. Interesting result. Bottom right is interesting. It almost looks like one of those little miniature models, but in the form of a planet. Actually, I just realized there's like a canvas thing going on too, so maybe 3D is not the right word that we wanted. So let's try moving in a different direction. Let's start looking at maybe something more abstract. So volcanic planet, fantasy, sci-fi, space. I don't know, space might mess it up, but let's try that. And then in contrary to that, let's go with like a oceanic planet, which we kind of talked about at the beginning. I think that would be an interesting one to look at too. So we'll get some fire, we'll get some water, we'll see what it comes. I can already tell that first set is going to be a bad example, just because I noticed that AI seems to default to like showing the planet but still having like land in front of it, so it's like a perspective deal. So it looks like the other one's going to be doing that too, right? So we can see that it kind of shows you the planet's landscape, and in the background, much like maybe we'll see a giant moon from the perspective of Earth. Well, if I wanted the planet of Earth to be the focus, it doesn't really work, right? You can't be like, hey, let me see the landscape of the Earth with another Earth on the horizon. Not quite what I was hoping to see, but we'll have to fine tune that. Yeah, so I mean, I guess it can. You can I guess stylize it, depict it, describe it in a way where the landscape, there's an example of the landscape, and in the background is the planet, just to, I don't know, show it off that way, but create like a little, again, vibe check, visual representation of both the planet and the terrain itself, I suppose. But definitely not quite what I was thinking off the top of my head. So yeah, I could see usage for this kind of style now that I'm seeing it more and more frequently. Gives me the idea that, you know what? Yeah, don't mind the double of the planet from different perspectives, but instead take it as a, how would I describe it? You're looking at both at the same time, just for perspective, I suppose. All right, but the ocean, yeah, see, this one has done the same thing. We get the planet kind of in the background. I do like that top left one where it almost looks like a bubble under the water, but I don't know if I'd say that looks like a planet. It really looks more like a globe that is larger in scale. But the right half definitely has a couple of them that appear to be more planet-like, which, yeah, the first one at the top right has kind of an icy landscape from the looks of it. Very interesting. But again, hard to tell how much of it is actually, you know, like a planetscape versus a more astral body that we're trying to focus on. So let's maybe swap it up. And I wonder if, gosh, what would be the prompt that we would be looking for to get kind of this really spacey look to it? Volcanic planet from space. Maybe if we view it from space. Fantasy sci-fi style. Don't know if that's gonna do it, but let's try. This track that's playing right now, I've heard it a few times, and I personally think it might be one of the best ones that I've seen from the AI music generator that I use. Oh, also, I thought I typed in the prompt. Did I just paste it? We'll try that again. Get rid of the unnecessary line here. You know what I should do? Cody, since you're chilling or lurking or whatever it may be, maybe we'll do a prompt of an icy planet. Try to get something like that. Ice planet from perspective of space, fantasy sci-fi style. Again, it's still adding terrain in front of it. The planet looks a little cooler maybe, but yeah, why is it doing that? This is, again, one of the differences, I would argue, with AI and human creatives, because you can go to an artist who does very stellar work and you could ask them, you know, I want a planet, I want it to be like a body in space, I want it to have these properties, and see what they make. AI, you really have to kind of finesse the keywords here to get the AI to understand what it's generating in the way that you want it to be generating. So adding concepts is fairly easy, right? You just mash in more keywords and you hope for the best, and you try to fine tune and tweak it. You use different vocabulary to try to get the results you're looking for. But when it comes to something as simple as, okay, how do I omit terrain from the image? I don't really think AI art has the ability to add omitting keywords. So what to do? Ice planet from perspective of space, fantasy sci-fi style. And heck, it could even just be the fact that I'm adding fantasy sci-fi, that's the reason why it's adding terrain, right? Because if you think about when you would go online and search for images, I know we've learned now that these tools aren't necessarily just scraping the internet on the fly, because, well, from the Vox video, right, that we did our kind of review reaction commentary with. But At the same time, I do find that if you go to, say, a site, a search engine, type in some words, the results that you see are probably not too far off from the results that the AI is querying in the keywords, right? Because there's still a degree of the keywords that go behind what, say, a Google or a DuckDuckGo or a Bing is going to feed you. I imagine AI is not much different when it comes to the data set and how it learns, but these are super cool. Almost look like little miniature snow globes, maybe even not miniature, maybe massive snow globes. But this is more like a world within a world. But aesthetically, super clean, super, like that bottom right one almost looks like it could be like a marble, but it's like a world within a marble. Top left one looking very Antarctic or Arctic in general. Very cool. Very interesting. So I could see these being good, like, again, vibe check images, right? Something for reference, something you can show, say, like players of a tabletop campaign. Just be like, hey, you know, ignore these couple of nuances, but this is the vibe that you guys are traversing through, right? That seems possible to me. But still not quite getting the planetary, like, view that I was imagining walking into this idea. So again, let's maybe I do need to remove the sci-fi fantasy section of it. So if we just do that first bit, is it still going to give us a similar result, or is it going to be a little different? That'll be a bit of a curiosity here. We'll find out. And while that's loading, I wonder if anyone has actually done no jobs with current filters. Really? No one has done space? That seems like a lie. All right, once again, what do we got? So that first one's probably the closest one that we've been able to get across to. The rest of them, again, still have this kind of bubble, marble, snow globe kind of look to them. Yeah, when it comes to landscape, it definitely keeps adding like ground. So what if we tried, what was it? Ice planet in space or among space? Can we find any space examples? Yeah, you know what? Not a lot of people are doing like spacey things, weirdly enough. There's only a handful that have resulted here. Planet. Yeah. Weird. Really? Nobody has really tried planets yet? No way. Maybe because it doesn't work properly? I don't know. Alright. Ice planet in space. Let's just be direct. It's in space. Not even the perspective, it's in space. Ice. Oh man. There has to be a way to... what's the shortest form that I could be as descriptive as possible? But it's also important to consider that the machine is likely not gonna understand our intent behind our message, right? So we got to make it as the verbiage as clear as possible. Yeah, even if we do in space, it looks like it's going to be adding again that landmass in front of it or at the bottom of it. Super cool though. That bottom left is a no-go for me, but that bottom right one is super pretty. All right. All right. Yeah, probably a good thing that we are looking at space. So let me try. What can I do? How about, what if I try like an asteroid? Would that also add? Asteroid drifting. I don't know if drifting is going to work there, but spatial. What else can we prompt here to try to get some space objects? How about a moon orbiting a planet? I guess we'll just go as straightforward as possible. Oh, words, please behave. Yeah, I just want to see if I'll get a couple samples here. Like, yeah, even the asteroid one. Look at that. It's adding ground. It's adding landmass to it. Why is there a vehicle in one of them? What? Huh. I wonder if this is actually like a really bad limitation we're finding here. Let's see. What can we do? What else is an object that would be in space? Like a satellite? Yeah, maybe we'll try a satellite drifting in the void of space. Let's try void of space. Maybe the void will be a good descriptor for what we're trying to find here. You know what? Speaking of void of space, let's see what just void of space does. Even that void of space one is adding a few lines at the bottom here. Look at that. Yeah, we may be onto something here about a big limitation that we're encountering. Dragon, I gotta put a bell on you for when you start stream. A bell on me? Oh, well, there is a bell on YouTube that you could push, but I also get it. Well, you know, it is YouTube, so, you know, if you want to pop in live, we're here. We welcome the company. But YouTube does also not do a great job supporting the watch time that you guys spend sitting here when I'm live, which is really a kick to my nuts over the past year when I dove into streaming. Oh, welcome, Kieran. Good to see you. We're messing with ideas of space and planets today. And so far, from some of our earlier tests that we've done, right, we started looking at a little bit of Earth, which initially, it's all right. It definitely looks very Earth-like to me. The clouds are a bit, I don't know, dusty looking to me. But then we also went into 3D, which gave a very interesting twist to what our first results were, just by adding, or I guess we removed photo and we added 3D, but afterwards we went straight into some more sci-fi stuff, and I've noticed through our results that it adds terrain in front of the object, like, frequently. Over here, when we look at like an oceanic planet, right? Again, we're getting objects in front of the planet. And I feel like this might have something to do with how a lot of artwork that would be depicting, say, a planet would oftentimes be drawn in a way that it comes from the perspective of someone planet side, right? Interesting how a lot of times we get like a globe look to it as well, but I feel like that's also because it's combining a planet, like let's say like that top left, right? It generates the top left, but then it also generates the perspective of a person, and it's trying to fine tune an image with those two shapes in mind, which then just blends it into this kind of abstract planet on planet type situation, which we're seeing here. So we're trying to figure out what keywords to tweak to just get the planet. We just want a brand new planet in space, no frills, no perspective of a person. So maybe I need to add like NASA photo. Maybe like NASA photo would help, because NASA might indicate that, hey, this is like a space imagery, right? Also, again, asteroid drifting. I say asteroid drifting. I should have maybe said in space, But again, it's adding it as if it's gonna hit something, land on something. Funny how these bottom ones have a vehicle. Left one has a car, and the right one has a space bus. Not really even sure. But let's see here. What did we do? Moon orbiting planet. Once again, giving us again that sense of perspective. Top ones are a bit janky on the blending or converting or however the heck it's going on. The bottom two are decent. But again, this is like we're looking at the moon, but the terrain is of the moon. Weird. So weird. Okay, okay. Satellite drifting in the void of space. Again, satellite drifting in the void of space. It still has this tendency to create bodies underneath it. Bottom right one, fortunately, gave us something that is, I think, usable as a drifting object. But interesting how the term satellite has created just like a box image here. Yeah, this is definitely a bit trickier than maybe some past ones. A void of space. Void of space, man, void of space. It gave us something very abstract. Odd how it's interesting. Wonder why would it prompt and create like a hallway for a void of space? Is it just the idea of space? Not thinking about interstellar, but more a spatial area that we would see. So what, like a hallway or a room it's adding in? What is it doing here? That bottom right one's pretty cool though. Little abstract, like something tore in. But it's almost flat looking, but it's not. It's trippy. You know, I kind of want to upscale that, get a closer look. Wasn't expecting to go in that direction today, but hey, that's what these are for. What else can we take a look at here? Actually, I don't recall if I had done it like full screen like this, but yeah, maybe we'll do it full screen. Try that for a little bit. Okay. What do we do? It's upscaling that one, but oh man. So how about like a creature that's in space? How about, you know, I've tried this prompt a little bit before. Still haven't quite found. But if we look at like space whale, what does it do for space whale? What's another one we could try? What's a creature that we might see in space? Unknown creature in space. And you know, just to mess with it too, what does space do? There's nothing else, just space. What does that give us? But yeah, here's that image from earlier. Yeah, definitely. Even this image here, if you guys look carefully, you can see at the top, right? It definitely has a more sky section, whereas the bottom half has what I would look at as a kind of ground section. Space squid. Ooh, space squid. Yeah, let's get that one working. What's up, Rig? Good to see ya. Space squid. So let's where was it? Yeah, so I'm sure there's terminology for this, but yeah, the bottom like third, I would say creates a like solid surface, right? And this is again an issue we're seeing with the other images. Is that just a result of how we take photos and what goes into the data set? Where, you know, if we have a camera and we're looking at millions upon millions of images, NASA's the images from NASA is probably that's available online. I wonder how that compares to the quantity of images that people have taken, right? And as far as what people have taken, the vast majority of them, the top half is going to be sky, the bottom half is going to be ground, and I wonder if that's going into the data set and skewing some of these results here. But this is a fascinating little image here. Definitely tickles my brain. It almost looks like, again, a container of sort that's looking into a different dimension and somehow, for some reason, blowing up on the edges. Almost looks like it's hard chipping off. A little interesting. I don't know. Caught my eye. All right. So space whale. Oh, no. A couple of them are deformed. Top left one is interesting. It looks like a whale among the stars. Bottom left one. What is going on its back? Is that a football stadium in space on the back of a space whale? I don't know. What is that? Top right one, I think I have an idea what's going on with the top right and the weird appendage that it has on its back. I feel like that was taken from an image that, or not taken, but inspired from images, you know, where you have like a sea creature, like a dolphin or a whale, or even sharks, I think, do this, where there's a small image or a small like an infant version that is swimming next to it. I feel like it was gonna go in that direction. It was like, you know what, let's just merge it. So yeah, unfortunately the child has been merged into the parent here. That's an atrocity. That we got to put that thing down. Bottom right one though, that's definitely an interesting take on a whale. Doesn't quite look like one that I've seen before, but it's also fascinating how the tail, which I would have expected the tail to be a pretty iconic part of a whale, and none of them have really captured that. It's really all looked at the, I would say, the shape of the whale itself. Also interesting how it's taken the abdomen, the width of the creature, and made it kind of bulbous. I don't know. How would you guys describe it? A lot of pictures taken by most people boil down to the proportions of a kid's drawing of a house with the sun in the corner. Yeah, right. There's definitely some things lacking there. But yeah, to the question that I would have is like, how much of our influence has affected what these tools can output, right? I imagine it must be quite a bit. So unknown creature in space. Let's look at these. So that first one, I don't know why, but feels like something you'd see in a Marvel movie. Just the nebula is the creature. Top right is curious, a little spooky. Definitely has a bit of a... The colors... Excuse me. I don't know if it's the colors or if it's the kind of... Is it, what's the word? Spindly? It's like, it looks like spider webs kind of wrapping around. Definitely spooky. But I do like the weird kind of side diagonal perspective that it's thrown in there. Because we still get, you know, the sense of stars on the top left and the top right. The bottom left here. The bottom left, I don't know if I'd call that a creature, but the visor having a focus variance in the image looks like a reflection of some sort, with the light source being more, I guess, forward and up of where this thing is facing. But I can't look at it and help but think that, hey, this is taken like an astronaut suit and blended it with a creature. And again, I say blending loosely. It's how MidJourney in this case is diffusing it, right? And fine-tuning the iterations as we've learned. But I suppose you could say maybe this is like the spacesuit of an alien species. I suppose that's possible. But then again, the arms, gosh, it has like things hanging off of it. So I don't know. I feel like that one would be a bit of a stretch. The bottom right, this one's pretty interesting. It's like a like a creature, and if you look closely, I kind of want to, let's upscale that, because it almost looks like it kind of reminds me of, gosh, what was that creature called in Princess Mononoke? There's the big god at the end of Mononoke. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Noke ending god. Started with an A, didn't it? Death and rebirth. Where's the forest spirit die at the end? No, that's not quite it. The Night Walker, yeah, they were calling it the Night Walker, right? Oh yeah, Ashitaka. Ashitaka, I think was. No, that was the dude's name. I could have sworn they had a name for that forest spirit. But here, let me see if I can find an image of it for those that don't recall. Copy. Yeah, you guys recall this guy? This little deer spirit dude. That's the one. The Nightwalker, yeah, kind of looks like Astral Dreadnought from D&D. Astral Dreadnought from D&D. That's not ringing a bell. Let's go find it. What does that one look like? But yeah, the forest spirit Nightwalker dude is what I was referring to. And it definitely gives me the vibe of this thing here. Oops, that didn't copy properly. Copy image. There it goes. Right? So that second image, like if I look at this, it almost looks like there's little spiraling galaxies in its like around its chin area. But who knows? That could just be like some trachnophobia or whatever it's called that we're about to walk into. But Astral Dreadnought. Ah, I can see it. I can see it. So for those unfamiliar with D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, and this Astral Dreadnought, this guy is going to look a little something like... Let's actually trash those. This guy, big ugly boy. And... is there maybe a larger image? Here, this one has a couple of sample images. Oh, I could spoiler it. But yeah, big space crab worm creature thing is I'm sure what it represents here. But yeah, let's go back into our images here and see. Okay, so if I just type in space, this is what we get. And again, you can see that in 3 of them, it's done exactly what I've been talking about, where top left, it's added, from the perspective of the dude in the back here. We got terrain with space in the sky, right? So again, there's like a section of the image that has been defaulting to sky, a section of the image that seems to be defaulting to ground, and that's a bit of a trick to get around. Whereas, yeah, you go to an artist, they can do whatever you want, right? So second image though, man, look at that guy power posing. That's a good one. Might upscale that just because it's cool. Bottom left, this guy's helmet looks like he got turned around and it's a little creepy, so we're not going to talk much more about it, but it almost looks like the bottom half is something viscous. It looks like almost like paint on the left side. So like this little marble has splashed down and there's a dude standing there with his helmet completely turned 180. Ugh. Bottom right, I think I see where it's going with it, where it's like the dude through the lens of a like a boat window, or I guess in this case it might be like a spaceship window, but it did something really weird on the bottom half where it almost looks like the window is intersecting through the torso of the dude. Poor guy. Yeah, it looks like, right? Because the left side, the top left side, the window is behind the guy, but on the bottom right side, it's in front of him. And then on the bottom left corner, it added a little, just enough to make it look like it's spiraling. So this is not a secure object. Whoever made this craft needs to get fired. This is not gonna fly. But otherwise, the colors are really cool. I definitely think one of the most interesting things I've found with these AI tools is the colors that it uses and defaults to. Oh, space squid. Here we go. Now we got ourselves the space squid. Look at that. That top left one. The top left one, it's like a machine squid. It's like blending machine and organic. There's like a little, is it wearing something, or is that just, it's an alien face? I'm not even sure. That top right's kind of odd and cute. Actually, I want to upscale that top right one just because it actually has a proper background to it, where it's like this creature literally in space. This guy could be larger than our planet and we wouldn't know. Bottom left is a little psychedelic space squid. It looked like it inked all over the place. That's very artsy of it. And then the bottom right one is just a complete eldritch horror. This is some poor dude. His brain has decided to become sentient and left the body. Really creepy. Man. But yeah, look at definitely the colors are wild with this stuff. You know, I've seen a few artists ever since I joined the whole Twitter BS, but I haven't quite come across, you know, I've seen a few artistic styles, and like, you know, people like to do like certain monochrome. I've noticed a few different sketching styles when it comes to like more I would say that's more art. I don't know, they're both artistic styles, but I've seen more interesting use of like pen work or utensil work. Utensil, is that the right word? Right, with the way people draw and the way they use angles and the way they use shading, for example. But there's been very few times where I look at something a person has put out on Twitter and just thought, man, what an explosion of colors. There's been a couple who I feel like, man, you use colors so well, but man, it does feel a little underutilized. I don't know if that's how to describe it. Because, yeah, looking at all these AI generated works, more often than not, its usage of color is just different. I don't know. I feel like that's also one of the reasons why when you look at an image on the internet and people can start to notice, like, man, was this AI made? It's because I think the AI generated images does tend to have some kind of imperfections, as well as, I don't know, it's like a non-human touch to it, which is really, really, really interesting. All right, so Big Space Boy definitely got fleshed out in this next iteration, but man, you ugly. Okay, I can see this being some kind of a creature that you would use for a concept in some kind of a space horror sci-fi. Man, look at that ugly boy. It's got like antennae under its chin. Doesn't even have a mouth. Maybe it just absorbs everything through osmosis. Either that, or maybe it splits it right where that blue meets under its eye. What a weird creature. Its hands are fugly as hell too. But yeah, this I could see this being used as part of some kind of a space creature concept. That looks like a potential win here, as fugly as it is. It's interesting how we do retain a lot of the kind of glowy bits in the body, though. So yeah, interesting. Very interesting output. And then our little space squid. I don't know. Interesting. Definitely a different kind of squid, that's for sure. Wonder if we could do... Actually, there's an emoji for a squid, right? Yeah. What happens if we do that? That one and space. Let's do this one. Space squid. This will be our first time trying out emoji-based prompting. Man, who would have thought that was even a thing? Oops. It helps if I also write the right prompts here. There we go. What are you gonna do with that? But yeah, while that one's loading, let's open this one back up. Definitely a lot of parallels with like sea creatures in space, maybe, perhaps. A lot of pressure in the ocean. A lot of weird critters. I wonder if a creature that could traverse space without needing to like without needing particular resources like we do to exist, right? I wonder what it'd be. Would it just be like an amoebus creature? Or would it be like gelatin? Equal and opposite force? Yeah, I guess gelatin, a type of a creature, might be possible. I'm trying to think like what reason would a creature have to have a hard skin surface? I guess the risk there would be like any particle that is drifting out in space. If it's traveling so fast that it would just instantly kill something if it came into contact with it, right? This was an issue that I remember hearing about with the space stations, for example, in space missions that we do, because there's like, you know, specks of dust that's came from, you know, what we put out there, or who knows where it came from. And if it like rotates around Earth, for example, or orbits, I should say, it could impact into the space station, and basically they're constantly in need of like repairing stuff up there because, you know, something pokes a hole in one of their panels or whatever it may be. Wow. I don't know where the giraffe came from, but that is interesting. So with the two emojis, right? These are called emojis. We did Milky Way and squid. We got space giraffe, which, okay. Not sure again where giraffe came from. We got, I don't know if I consider that a squid, but looks almost more like a octopus. Oh, excuse me. Looks almost more like an octopus in this case. And on the bottom left here, we got a whale jumping out in the stars. That's actually pretty cool. Let's upscale a couple of these. Bottom right is some chick under the water, it looks like, but these fish and her eyes. Actually, her helmet is like an aquarium. That's kind of cool. All right. We got space squid. We got space whale. Let's see what those look like when they're larger. And then I think we'll probably call it there for this little round of playing around with these AI tools. So again, right, we started off with planets. We were looking at to see, you know, can it recreate Earth? Kind of, sort of did. Can we get some various planetary concepts here? It kind of, sort of gives us some concepts here, sure. Definitely, if we're looking to use it as, you know, like a reference for a literal planet, nothing more, it seems to have some challenges generating that. Maybe I'll have to keep an eye out on that MidJourney Discord to see if there's some keywords that could be used, if anyone's played with it and knows a way or knows a trick or a set of keywords that can get the AI to understand what we're looking for here. Let us know in the comment. But yeah, ice planet, perspective of space, right? Again, it's gives us a lot of this kind of snow globy marble on some kind of a surface look is what it seems to be giving us a lot of times. An asteroid, even the asteroid drifting, I should have said in space perhaps, but again, gives us something for perspective's sake. A moon, a satellite, various space objects. We've tried exploring just void of space, which still, it has this tendency or bias to include objects, not just space imagery. Space whale, so I guess what we shifted over to creatures in space of sorts. We got some interesting results here, from some eldritchy looking creatures to some badass looking, you know, let's also upscale number 2 guy here, Mr. Power Pose in space. That guy, that guy, that's a mood right there. And then we got some interesting space squid ideas. I don't know what it is. Like something but around about the first three, again excluding that bottom right one. There's something like almost cute about it, but almost like just like what are you? I don't know if that's just me though. Man, I should add in a way to. Nah, I'm gonna abandon that train of thought. So yeah, our end results here, right? We got a big creepy boy, some huge creature. Gives again me a very similar vibe to that forest walker in Princess Mononoke. Mononoke. We have space squid. That good idea from our buddy Regal in chat. And yeah, this one actually gave us a nice view of like a nebula in space or something, blended with some interesting colors of it, I guess inking, if you could even call it that. It almost looks like it's blending a little bit here. And then let's look at these a little. Oh, that's creepy. Its face. It has a face. Squid guy, you good? Ugh. It has like eyeballs. That's creepy. A little disturbing. Although it is an interesting take on it though, because like the top half of the creature is oddly, I don't know, 3D with the way the colors are being used, and then the bottom looks more kind of spotted, right? It looks more painted or yeah, I think painted might be a good term for it. But I also like how the critter almost looks like it was pasted on top of the background, but also not. Strangely fungal. Yeah, is this gonna be is there something? Yeah, there's like a little bit of a mushroom. It has like a mushroom head. Yeah. You know what? You're right. It is definitely fungal. Even the underside of the cap, right, has you if you ever pick up a mushroom or break one off and turn it upside down, you have a lot of these kind of threads or fins, or it reminds me a lot of a pool filter, like an old pool filter that has a bunch of flaps that is used to kind of or even like the mouth of a blue whale, right, where it has all those fibers that it just kind of lets things pass through and it filters it, and that's how it collects shit. Yeah, fungus I think do something similar there. But it's also fascinating how it kind of creates this bulbous head, blending the colors of red and blue, right? Left side has a bit more of that orange warm tone. Right side has more of the cool tones. Top half has more warm tones. Bottom half has cool tones with the ocean. But then we also have that view of the ocean on the bottom with the space on top. But all of it could be in the water. I don't know. It's definitely, again, there's something bizarre about these AI generated images that would I say that there's like a degree of like abstractness that really tickles me, which is also interesting because on the flip side I can go to the MidJourney Discord server and find all sorts of things that folks have made that are a bit more expected of what people can create. That's a terrible term, not quite the word I'm looking for, but hey, I'm still winding up in the morning here. This one, little space whale, that is neat. It's like splashing out of the ground. There's also a dude just standing there. Man, who is that guy though? Who is that guy? It also again did something a bit odd where it created a weird object on the left side. It's left fin, right fin also. Again, it doesn't seem to understand symmetry. Or at least I don't really know if it does understand symmetry. Maybe it does. It just, again, when you're looking at a focused result for its output versus a overall perspective of something, it definitely struggles to keep in each individual component within an overall work or generation in check. So yeah, But yeah, space whale has a bit of like a reflectiveness going on the top half, giving me the sense that it's underwater. But with the way the water's splashing and above in the top side gives me a look of stars. So this is a very cool look that I think an artist could take this and do something really cool with it. I guess with some work, it could be harder for it to generate due to the amount of subject matter. Yeah, subject matter. That's maybe the word I was looking for. There are a lot more pictures and drawings of buildings and people than whales. I have noticed that. I have noticed that in the times that I've tried to search, like, say, landscapes versus creatures, certain creatures do appear to be a bit easier for it to whittle down to a complete image than others. More interpolation makes more alien results. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. But it is still very interesting how this is going to change and evolve, because with all the people who are involved in it, I can't imagine it not continuing to grow. Yeah, Rig, were you here earlier when I was showing off the MidJourney server? Because if you look at the MidJourney server, right, where is it? Home? Over 8.3 million people are on this server. And there are only 7.1 million Twitch streamers. Whoops, that's the wrong one. The numbers, man. It's the numbers are there. So I'm hard pressed to think that this is not going to improve. But at the same time, you know, programmers are going to get affected by AI as well. So it's again, I'm so curious to see how this all changes and evolves, not just in the art sphere, but just the AI sphere in general in the next few years. There's gonna be like a sparking point where we probably won't notice it in the transition phase that I imagine we're in right now, which is why we're in such, you know, ups and downs in time. But what comes out of it after the fact, I imagine they will, in hindsight, see this as a turning point with the way AI is. But yeah, this one's super cool. This one has a nice look, but the dude just kind of power posing there, man, in space. All right, that's probably a good one to finish it off of. So cool. All right, again, we're gonna try to keep these episodes to about an hour long. We're a little bit over here, but I think you know, we play with some ideas. We take a look at these AI tools. We share our thoughts. We welcome ideas if anyone wants to chime in based on a prompt or a topic for an episode. And next week, so Monday through Thursdays, right, is when we're trying to do these episodes. We're going to continue to play with it, try it out, think of ideas, tickle the creative side of our heads and whatnot. Next week on, I believe it was Tuesday, was it Tuesday? It was the 17th? Yeah. Tuesday on the 17th, we're going to have a buddy of the channel join us. Not sure if we're going to go in the direction of more tabletop RPG discussions or concept creations or talking just about AI. But the plan at the moment is to have our buddy Azabiel join us for a little bit of time to take a look at AI tools and talk about AI on a future episode. So let's go ahead and mute the audio here. Go ahead and get full screen. And yeah, thank you guys for hopping on. Again, we're going to do probably another one of these later this afternoon. I'm not sure. Yeah, it'll probably be, I'm thinking 1 p.m. Pacific today. Actually, I think that's what I've been doing if I had done a second episode. So yeah, 1 p.m. Pacific, which is 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll give another one of these a go. And I think this series will go for about a month. I think I want to do a total of maybe 12 to 16 episodes, trying out different ideas, exploring different things. And maybe in February, we will try tweaking things a little bit, right? So again, one of my big goals for this year is to look into quote unquote content, something that is both entertaining for me as well as for the viewers out there, trying out various ideas as I figure out, exactly what it is that I want to do with all of this. Because in our first year, we jumped into it kind of head first and got the ball rolling and joined the VTubing community, which is why I'm funny little spaceman model here, as you all see. But yeah, it's a community that I enjoy. I thought it was a super cool direction for the technology. I saw a lot of creative individuals out there and also just fans of the space and the hobby jumping into it and putting themselves out there their way with their hobbies in mind. And I was like, that's cool. I also see a future where certain kinds of animations, for example, might be augmented in this way, where I think our good buddy of the channel, Vector Spaceman, has kind of proven the point a little bit better than I had initially considered in these kind of sketch formats, which that's maybe for fans of the channel and the sphere. But yeah, we are looking forward to continuing our live streaming and posting videos, which the videos are really just, again, trying to figure out how do I want to do it, because gotta say there's a few aspects of doing this that I certainly don't enjoy, certain aspects that I do enjoy, and we want to find a way that strikes a good balance where we're having a good time making this, but also you guys are getting value out of it. So leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you enjoy this type of thinking and exploring, hit the button and we'll catch you next time. This was Dregn Durant, and with that, enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, wherever you may be, and until next time, take it easy, everybody. Bye.